Welcome to the Honest Hour. I'm your host, Luis Acevedo, the founder of MOT Media, and also a co-host of MOT Today, which airs every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do a recap of the weekly news, and then MOT Sports on Saturdays with James and Mick. So be sure to check that out. And the Honest Hour, we cover what's going on during the week, during the days, have some fun conversations, invite people on to chat. And yeah, so we have some pretty interesting topics to go over today. It's really hot where I'm at. Like it was 95, 96 degrees today. So I might not have the high energy I had yesterday, but I'm going to try to bring it to the table because, it is what it is. Just got to do it. So one of the first things that I want to jump into is what's going on with these food plants, right? So there's this article here. For everybody on TikTok, you won't be able to see it. Everywhere else, you will be able to see it. But don't you worry. Don't you worry. Because I can read, and I will read this very well. And I'll also just, describe it, what's going on. So another U.S. food processing plant has erupted in flames. This is the 97th, actually, food processing plant. Right here, there's a list of them. 97 food processing plant that has been destroyed this year alone. And a lot of people have speculated there's a conspiracy going on behind it. Now, this particular processing plant is in Wisconsin, I believe, yes, and it is called Frenzy Foods, I believe. How many plants were destroyed last year? I'm not sure. That's a good question, but nobody was talking about anything last year. And this year, it seems that it is a part of the reason why we see a rise in food prices and why I think we'll see a rise in food shortages as well across the nation. But we can look up to see. I don't even know if there'll be a statistic for it. That's something I thought about too when I was looking into this. Speculations. Yeah, so I mean, I speculate that this is in part organic. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes. I think in part of it is organic and, it just accidents happen. But I also think another part of it is orchestrated. I mean, the Department of Homeland Security is not even touching these cases. They're not. They don't even have a reason as to why they're taking place. And it is. Let's see. Do you think Biden will use his emergency powers to ramp up U.S. production? Not exactly facts, just speculations. Well, you just asked me, is it speculation? You just asked me if I had speculations, and I gave you my speculations. But it is a fact that 97 plants have been destroyed this year, which seems kind of odd. And also in, let's see, I believe this is in Kansas. I'll show everybody the video to this. A bunch of dead cows were just laying in a row. They blamed it on the heat, which I find not to be true because there's just so many that are just in a row dead. And it just seems to me, I mean, plus they're killing a lot of animals. There was 18 as of April. Yeah, I'm showing here 97. I have a list of all of them that took place. Everybody that's on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch can see it. So January 1st, 2021, I'm sorry. So January 1st, 2021, a fire that destroyed 75,000. So it goes from 2021. So there was 10 in 2021. And then that means there was 86 in 2022. So starting in January 7th, 2022, we had our first one damage to a poultry processing plant. You read out loud that you're reading something out of speculation. No, I'm not reading out loud. What I told you is speculation. Is the fact that we don't exactly know why these are blowing up, why they're getting damaged. The fact is that 86 this year were damaged, 97 between last year and this year were damaged. That's all conspiracy and false info. Okay, well then leave if you don't like the info. Doesn't matter. I don't care that you think it's conspiracy and false. This is all very provable and factual. The food are getting low is because they can get no one to work. That isn't necessarily true. There's a lot of people who want to work. Um, and there's a lot of people who are working. I do know that there is a worker shortage, but it has nothing to do with our food supply. I don't think that that's a main reason. I think the main reason is food supplies are being destroyed left and right, as we're seeing here. And then in Wisconsin or Kansas, let me show this video for everybody. Give me a second here. It's pretty, I don't want to say disturbing, but it's pretty eerie. Um, it's a video of dead cows just in a row. So I'll flip the phone over for everybody to see here. Let me. So let's see. Hopefully this won't mess up my effects or anything. I don't know if I can flip the camera. Let's see. Let's try it. I don't think it'll let me with effects. So let me see if I can turn the effects off for a second and flip the camera over. That way everybody can see this. So this is in Kansas. And they're blaming it on the heat, but that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I work at a farm and none of the cows are dropping dead over the heat. Not one. Not one. And there's a bunch of cows there. The true. So I mean that's in Kansas, and they're blaming that on the heat, but then some people are saying the farmer doesn't know what caused it. And then we have the fact that there's a lot of animals just being slaughtered right now because they're blaming these diseases and other things of that nature, which is total nonsense. Because the real agenda here is to get rid of all animal products and get us on a plant-based diet on these fake meats. So that's the plan. That's the ultimate plan, is to get rid of all animals as far as for consumption, and then to get us on plant-based meat, the Beyond Burgers, all that nasty garbage, lab-grown meat. I mean, why do you think Bill Gates is the largest farm owner right now, and he is behind making synthetic milk and synthetic meat and synthetic breast milk? I mean, come on. This is like very clear to see. Do you have any reason to believe anything else? Literally, logically, you're making too many jumps, dude. Okay, like you would be failing math class right now with this logic, my man. Dude, okay. I mean, you can just bounce then if you ain't liking my logic. I did okay in math. I did well in logic. I know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, you have to look at many other factors here to what's going on. So there's been a push to go plant-based for a long time. One of the main reasons to go plant-based allegedly is to help the environment, and then also for it to, I'm not sure how many have been burnt down, but 86 in total have been damaged or destroyed this year, and 97 since last year and this year have been destroyed or damaged. But let's go through this here. So you have the plant-based diets, which have become extremely popular because people believe that meat is bad for you, animal-based products are bad for you because it causes heart disease, it causes all of the health problems that we have in the Western world, allegedly. And most within the past 6 months, or no, this is throughout the entire year. But let's see when the most had occurred. I don't know. I mean, there were a lot in February. There was about 14. There was about 9 in February. Looks like there was a lot in March too, so 24. Oh wow, there was a lot in March. There's like 23 in March. What does the FBI does that about the destruction of ritual bee supply in the produce? I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, anyway, the move over to a plant-based diet has been taking place for years. We can see this. And yeah, to be honest, that really doesn't settle too well with me. Yeah, there's definitely something going on. So we do know that there's a huge switch over to plant-based. One reason is climate change, because farm animals produce a lot of methane, and methane produces CO2, and that goes into the atmosphere, and that damages the atmosphere. This is alleged. And then we also have the fact that humans aren't thriving like they could on a plant-based diet, allegedly, because all the cholesterol, saturated fats are extremely bad for you. And so you then need to consume a lot of plant-based products to have an optimal human health. This is the narrative. And the best way to transition over the diet gradually would be to, one, make it popular to have the Beyond Burgers, the Beyond Meat, and also tell people, their doctors, society, your parents, TV, saying, hey, you need to add more greens into your diet, and you need to eat less red meat because red meat is bad for you. And so you slowly start taking people off of meat. And then you can begin to make it difficult to get meat with prices. People begin to get priced out. In the New York Times, there was an op-ed written in the New York Times stating, it is good that there is inflation on meat because it'll drive people to go green. This is the same narrative that we've seen when it comes to oil and gasoline, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And we've seen Joe Biden, we've seen the Secretary of Energy or Transportation, I think Energy, saying that this is a good thing that gas prices are going up because it'll help people transition over and go green. And so we do know that there are plans set in stone. And also during the Davos meeting, they said that the gas prices and everything, this is the meeting with the global elites. They said that this was at least a fraction of the global elites, saying that it is a good thing that the gas prices are going up because it'll help people go green. Right? And no, humans are not omnivores. Humans are carnivores. Everybody likes to say that. But then guess what? Herbivores eat meat too. Does that make herbivores omnivores? By everybody's definition, just because you eat a little bit of both, everything would be an omnivore. It's false. If your primary consumption, your primary calories and nutrients comes from a particular food group, that's what you are. And humans get their primary source of nutrients and calories optimally from animal-based products, therefore in raw, mostly. Therefore, humans are carnivores. Anyway, so this is very logical what I'm saying. This is very logical what I'm saying. Bro, humans are definitely omnivores. We can eat both and digest. No, you can't digest vegetables, though. You can't. Your digestive tract is designed similar to a dog's and a cat's, and a dog and a cat are carnivores. And we do not have the bacteria to break down vegetables. Cows, gorillas, these herbivores have bacteria in their gut that actually processes the vegetables and ferments it. They ferment the vegetables in their intestines. Humans can't ferment. We cannot ferment. Therefore, we cannot properly digest. See, everybody's like, dogs are omnivores. No, they're not. You guys don't understand this, but that's okay. So, yeah, that's why you can't digest vegetables, because we can't ferment them. We don't have the bacteria to let it sit and ferment. And a cow will literally digest. I've been on the carnivore diet for 6 months, and it's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. I'm not, into the carnivore diet. I think that it's just the natural diet, like, are you incorporating like raw liver, raw heart, raw kidneys, raw brain? That's a real human diet. Is your family from Mexico? No, my family, half of my family is from Puerto Rico. Well, nobody is out here whole cucumbers. Yeah. I mean, they can't. You can't process them. It's really hard. Cows and horses have 4 stomachs. We only have 1. That too. Big Russ is back in the building. He always has my back. Always hopping in here. So, yeah, but that's the logical argument for what's taking place with the food processing plants for the troll that came in here earlier. I can make it really, like, I can break it down, go in depth. I try to be as simple as possible when I'm giving these explanations. But I was thinking about this earlier today. Maybe I should go more in depth, show my, just to display. I understand what's going on to give a foundation for everybody to reference. But it's honestly a lot easier just to keep things simple. Oh, you're simple. Okay. Uh, that doesn't make sense. Billions of people process vegetables every day. No, they don't process vegetables every day. They struggle to process them every day. They have a hard time. People who eat a lot of vegetables tend to be bloated, tend to have a lot of gas, tend to go to the bathroom a lot more, and are sluggish. This is just the case. Once again, you can't properly digest vegetables. You just can't. It's a fact. It's a proven fact. This is like known biologically. Anybody who's honest about biology knows this to be true. We just have a different digestive tract. And why do you think a gorilla eats 16 hours a day? They're also very sluggish. So are cows. Look at all the herbivores. What herbivore seems as athletic as a carnivore? None. So you don't digest. So don't digest live enzymes when you eat vegetables or fruit. I don't know what you're. I mean, it's even hard to extract nutrients from vegetables. If you really look into it, like people say that there's a lot of vitamin A, and yeah, but deer are not as athletic as a lot of carnivores. Like my opinion is that it is coincidence that the processing plants are getting destroyed. Still not cool. Yeah, it might be a coincidence. It might be. That's what I was stating earlier. That I think a lot of it's organic, but some of it to me just seems there's just too much going on. New people. He's a smart guy. Just listening to him, trying to digest. Oh, what's up, Heaven VIP? He's the smart guy here. He's a surgeon. Trying to digest vegetables leads to inflammation. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's not to say that you can never eat vegetables. Augenus von der Planets, he was a big proponent of drinking vegetable juice and also fruit juice. So there's a lot of people, and there's also Tom Barnett, who's a health practitioner. I've spoke with him numerous times on my podcast, and he has gone, he eats a lot of raw meat, but he from time to time will go through a phase where he eats a vegetarian diet. And, a lot of people say that it can cleanse you out. But overall, it's not an optimal diet for humans. I think different people are smart in different subjects, but sometimes they can overdo themselves. Yeah, I mean, for sure. So this is absolutely true. And I'm not claiming to know everything. There's just a few things that I've particularly researched on. I've researched quite a bit, and I know quite a bit on. And diet is one of those things. And the most optimal diet for a human is raw animal based. Shout out to the wife, brother. Thanks, man. Thanks. Animals are built for their environment and hunting strategies. 1v1. No animal can beat an elephant. Yeah, 1v1. You're right. You're right. I mean, that'd be very hard. I don't know. Maybe a rhino, but rhinos are smaller than an elephant, I think. And Trump never lies. Yeah, Trump never lies. Oh man, that's a good one. That's a great one. Shout out to the wife. Okay, well, the original argument was if humans were, which is technical a fact. No, it is not technically a fact. It is not a fact. The fact is humans are carnivores, and the argument that you're using would mean that everything is an omnivore because everything eats both vegetable greens, I'll say, and meat. Deer eat meat as well. This is a misconception people have about herbivores. There's a lot of deer that'll eat dead deer, that'll eat little birds, they'll eat bugs, dead squirrels. They'll pick at dead squirrels. So is a deer an omnivore? No, I didn't say that. There are a lot of animals that are strictly carnivores. No, what I'm telling you is that even a lion at times will eat vegetation. Like everything eats both sides of the like everything eats like on the spectrum, but they primarily stay on one side of it, is what I'm telling you. And that's how you deem something as a carnivore or an herbivore. Because then everything would be a herbivore, because gorillas eat also meat as well. Cows eat birds, they eat dead birds. But nobody ever says that a cow is an omnivore. They'll always say a cow is an herbivore. And so humans primarily, where they get their, the optimal diet for a human is going to be an animal-based diet, because it's easier for our bodies to digest raw meats, and also we're made up of mostly cholesterol and saturated fat. If you want your baby to grow big and strong, they've done studies in this primarily in African tribes where they live the most natural, and they find that the babies in these tribes, the first thing that they put them on, no, it has not been disproven. The only things that you are like, the people who try to disprove this go for the agenda, which I was talking for at the beginning. You have to understand that there's a huge agenda against animal products right now. Gorillas eat some ants, but never meat. There's meat in ants, and they also will eat their dead as well. This is very true. I mean, there's so many videos on this. This is not even like debatable. What I'm telling you, I know 100% without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not backing any agenda, but I take science in 7th grade. Cool. Well, silverbacks will never eat meats. This isn't true. They have eaten meats. All animals eat meat. All animals eat meat. But there are herbivores and there are carnivores. Carnivores eat primarily a meat-based diet. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the likes. Nutritionists say for humans, it's about having a balanced diet based on your genes and activity level. Yeah, that's what a lot of nutritionists will say, but I don't think that there is much of an argument to consume a healthy amount of vegetables and carbs and sugars. I don't think that that makes a lot of sense, because carbs are very hard to digest. I mean, you can't even digest them, and they're arguably the root cause of a lot of heart disease. I mean, we didn't see heart disease in America until like the 1900s. So we can't blame it on the meats. And also, it has a lot to do with the processed meats and all the chemicals that we put in our meats. So when people are attacking meat and animal products, it's because we have pasteurized them. It's because we've put GMOs in them. We've put, and if they don't have GMOs, they're probably getting a grain-based diet, which that's horrible for them. It destroys their liver, which then makes it hard to find good raw liver to eat, which doctors back in the day would prescribe to a sick person eating raw liver, saying, yo, you need to go get yourself some raw liver. You'll be all set. Our ancestors used to eat roots. This is not true. That's a lie. Our ancestors would only eat that if they were starving. Look into it. Do the research. The diet has actually radically changed after World War II, and that's because, especially in the Soviet Union, they were going around saying bang, 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 bang to all your cows, your freaking pigs, all your livestock, going bang, bang. No bacon for you, no steak for you. And then guess what happened? Out of that resulted a heavy vegetable-based diet. The vegetable diet that we now see today is a result of starvation. Michael Phelps should have a different diet versus a trucker. I mean, he is an all-Olympic athlete. So, yes, there are your exceptions to that. But I stand firmly that there is a human diet, because humans eats a lot of truckers, eats carbs. A lot of truckers shouldn't. I don't think anybody should eat carbs, but I get why people think that you should eat carbs. We have the most meat now than we ever had in history. We have the most garbage meat now that we had in history. I don't know that we had the most clean meat in history. Raw beet juice has been shown to rejuvenate the liver. I don't know about that. Maybe. Like I didn't discredit vegetable juices at all, if you catch the beginning. But a lot of this diet, like pasta and stuff like that, that's a result of starvation, guys. Fact. Like, you can look into it. This is a historical fact. A lot of these diets came about as a result of starvation. A lot of these foods, roots, potatoes, starvation food. That's where they came about. Humans have always seeked out animal products, raw animal foods, liver, heart. Liver is the most precious thing sought after. If you look at some of these tribes, there have been research and studies done, like when their vision of heaven was to have an abundance of fat, like raw animal fat. These African tribes, and that's what they would crave. They would crave raw liver. And once their babies, like the tribe leaders, once their babies were weaning off the breast, what they would eventually do is feed their babies raw liver, raw fat, and slowly introduce them to the meats that way. And they found that their cranium, like their head size, is much bigger than a lot of babies over here in America. And there appears to be a correlation. And now, for all you smart boys out there, correlation doesn't equal causation. Hey, most of the time correlation does equal causation. It kind of indicates causation anyway. But just wanted to get that out there for all the smart boys that might want to come in and say correlation doesn't equal causation. There is a correlation between your head size at 12 months and your intelligence level for the rest of your life. And these children who are fed fats, raw animal fats, have a bigger head size than most of the babies here in the Western world. That's saying something. They get it. We're over here worried about the Africans. We're over here saying, oh my God, I don't know if they're going to make it. They're going to starve. Look at the food crisis that's going on because of Ukraine and Russia, big bad Mr. Putin. Oh my God, all these people are going to hurt the Africans, and they're hurting us now too, but they're really going to hurt the Africans. I think the Africans are going to be just okay. I really do. I think they have the world figured out a lot better than the Western world in a lot of ways. Meat is great, though. Meat is awesome. And our ancestors later on made tools and ate bone marrow, and that's when that really started going. But before we were the grasslands and trees where plants were, well, I mean, not the Congo, drag Queen Donnie. Who knows? I mean, we were talking about this on a stream the other day, whether or not Melania Trump is a trans, because we started talking about Michelle Obama, which I don't know. I don't buy into that whole conspiracy of those people being trans, but who knows? Maybe Donald is. I mean, Donald did say this has nothing to do with him being trans. It just has everything to do with him being a creep. He did say that he would date his daughter if it wasn't his daughter. That's very creepy. Goat's milk is said to be the closest thing to mother's milk. Yeah, 100%. You're 100% right. And so that's why if anybody has children here and they're struggling with this baby formula shortage, because I know it's real. I know people personally who are affected by it. You can go to your local goat farmer, depending on your state laws and stuff like that, and get some raw goat milk, and you can make your own baby formula. And if anybody is interested in that, I have the ingredients for it. We have the recipe, not the ingredients, the recipe for it. I have no issue DMing you the recipe, so that way you guys can thrive and hopefully not give your babies baby formula, because it's not optimal. It's just a bunch of nasty stuff. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, this whole baby formula crisis, that hopefully will bring people into realizing that they should not be relying on these chemicals to feed their children. What the hell do you think our ancestors did 500 years ago before baby formula? What do you think they did? They didn't say, oh my God, I got to go to the grocery store. No, they said, oh, I'm no longer producing. Is there another woman around that can produce? No, there isn't. Well, we got a goat. That goat's going to save this baby. So, I mean, don't be afraid of that stuff. There's a lot of myth around raw animal foods. There really is. I totally agree with that, Harry Jerry. We need regenerative agriculture. I totally agree with that. That's our goal, is to have some kind of a homestead. I don't know how big we're going to go yet, but I do know that we want some livestock. We do want to grow some fruits. Right now, I'm just helping out at a farm, doing as much as I can, getting as much experience as I can a couple days during the week. In exchange, we're getting a lot of good, healthy food. Like today, I just helped out clean there. I added a new thing to my to-do list at the farm. And in exchange, we got 3 pounds of meat. We got like 40 eggs. We got 2 more gallons of raw milk. And this was all just from like, I think maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of work. And it wasn't grueling work or anything. It was just some basic cleaning in the dairy room where people go in to get their shares of dairy, because in Ohio you have to have a share in order to purchase raw milk with corporate practices. Yeah, bars from Armenia. What's going on? What's going on? Let's see if I missed anything else here. So yeah, I mean that's the big thing. That's what I think is going to be the future, is going local. I've been a big proponent of this for a long time. Anybody who's been following the show for any amount of time knows that I am a big proponent of localizing supply chains, because the reason why we're in this predicament is because we've become too reliant on global supply chains. But we have everything we need individually to survive and thrive in our local communities. So one way that you can do that, I recommend, if you have the land, you have the property, get yourself some chickens because they're low maintenance. And if you really want to go hard, get yourself some goats. And if you like vegetables, hey, I know I'm over here. I criticize vegetables a lot, but if you like vegetables and your family incorporates them in your diet, it's going to be much healthier if you grow them in your backyard, right? It's going to be much healthier doing that than getting them from the store, or just help out a local farmer. Definitely local is better, 100%. When eating meat, you should drink fresh vegetable juice with it to help digestion. That's, Augenus vonderplanitz. I don't know who Jay Corderick is, but I know Augenus vonderplanitz has mentioned something similar to that. I like to drink raw milk. Raw milk, I think, helps you digest food really easily. So that's cool. Apples are great to help settle upset stomachs. I've heard that, and they're also better for you than coffee. I've heard that as well. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not like fruits. I love fruits. There are some fruits that aren't good for you. I mean, ideally, you want to eat the fruits that grow around in your area. But we get a lot of different fruit. We like orange. I'm Puerto Rican, guys. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm an island boy. So I like bananas. I like pineapples. I love watermelon. So I might be like a quarter black or something. I like I like strawberries. I like yeah, I mean, I love all kinds of fruit. All kinds of it. I've watched a video the other day. It was really cool. Have you guys ever seen how a strawberry is grown? It's out of a flower. It's really incredible. It's really incredible. I was amazed by it. It starts off as this beautiful white flower, and then eventually from the bud, a strawberry begins to grow from it, and it starts off yellow and white, and then it slowly begins to change color into red. It's really awesome. If a woman gets an abortion, then a man can opt out of a pregnancy without paying child support. Pro-choice for both. I do think that our legal system is messed up when it comes to the men, 100%. I have a pretty weird view on abortion. I have like a love-hate relationship with abortion because I'm like, no, save the children. But at the same time, I'm like, but if you're going to go get an abortion, maybe your bloodline should just be ended already. Like, just end it. Like you deserve. That's your curse. Bloodline no continue. It's done for you, bucko. So I don't know. Seeds are toxic, some say. I don't want to say that they're toxic, but they're not good for you. They're definitely not good for you. I got a crown because I'm a king. Thank you, Tito. You're doing a great job, man. Thanks. So, Chicago Red, I appreciate that. So, yeah, I won't say that seeds are toxic. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The law of the land. Yeah, I mean, a bunch of I kind of agree with it, but they were a bunch of Freemasons. What seeds are toxic? All of them. You can't digest them. They're very hard on the body to digest. Like seed oils, like all the seed oils that you see, they were originally used to lube machines. You know that, right? I mean, nobody knows that. Like the seed oils that you use in place of butter or tallow, which you should be using butter or tallow because that's the best thing to use, health-wise, nutrition, everything. But the seed oils like vegetable oil, is it castor oil? Is that what it is? Something like that, or I'm not sure. Olive oil. Some people say olive oil is okay. I don't know about that. Maybe if you're in Italy, maybe. But like vegetable oil, totally bad. They used to use it to lube machines. So replace that with butter and tallow. One thing I'm gonna do when I go to a restaurant next time is say I have a deathly, I have a horrible allergy to seed oils. So you must use butter when you cook my steak for 2 seconds. You must see if that works. I don't know if I'll be able to tell. Maybe you can tell the difference. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, maybe there's a conspiracy going on destroying our food supply. Maybe it's coincidence. Avocado oil is good, though, right? I don't think it is. Um, I don't think avocado oil is good for you. You might want to do a little more research into that. Typically, any like plant avocado, coconut, and olive oil are good for cooking. Lower radiant. Yeah, okay. So Big Russ seems to know what he's talking about. So you can take his word if you'd like. Destroy food supplies. You really have to be lazy. Go grow your own. 100%. That's what I was just preaching, my man. I just said you need to localize your supply chain. Start a homestead if you have some land and if you have the ambition to do so. That's the future. That's the future. Get back to victory gardens. You know what I'm saying? Some good old World War II Uncle Sam propaganda. Um, it's true propaganda though, but then you had freaking canned foods coming out in World War II. So, I mean, you take some, you lose some. Now, this is something that isn't in the topics, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it is very important. So, West Virginia, bro, farming is not easy. You're lucky if you don't lose at least half your crop. Or nobody's saying, yeah, 100%. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy. We had a huge, not a huge, but a huge garden for in the city, and it was uh, pretty fruitful. But it was kind of a lot of work to make sure that things went well. Definitely, if you incorporate some livestock, it definitely becomes increasingly difficult. But it's definitely worth the effort, I would say. Now, here's the other article that I wanted to cover. It's not in the topic section here, but it's very important, and you guys may enjoy this. So, West Virginia threatens to bar big banks, BlackRock, over perceived fossil fuel boycotts. So, six of the nation's largest financial institutions, including JP Morgan Chase, BlackRock, Wells Fargo, may no longer be able, and more obviously, may no longer be able to do business with the state of West Virginia after its treasurer warned them they were facing bans over perceived boycotts of the fossil fuel industry. And this is obvious. Yeah, they're messing with Black Rocks. They're probably going to go missing. I mean, I don't know. Because Texas is doing the same thing too. Um, but BlackRock is the biggest financial institution in the world, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they're buying up all the real estate right now and farmland. It's crazy. I think they're buying farmland. I'm pretty sure they're buying farmland or just raw land. But anyway, so they want to cut these banks off from doing business in their states, and Texas is also trying to do something similar because of the what is it, ESG, Rothschilds. I don't know who runs the BlackRock, and the Rothschilds are a big money family, as are the Rockefellers. They definitely do pull a lot of influence financially, and they have fund. I think it's the Rothschilds that have funded allegedly, both sides of every war for a long time. So yes, they are. All the big corporations are buying up the farmland. Okay, cool. Thank you, Baraven 8. So yeah, with this, what is it called? ESG. So the social and corporate governance, that is environmental, social, and corporate governance. Basically, woke capitalism is what a lot of people call it for short. Yeah, I've heard that too, and I believe they play it like a game. 100%, 100%. So with West Virginia and Texas barring these, or attempting to bar these banks from doing business in their states, I think that this is one of the signs of a potential balkanization in America. But it is kind of hard to conceptualize how a balkanization would take place. For those of you unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, it is the breaking apart of the United States into different states, reverting back into maybe something that was somewhat similar to the days of the Article of Confederation, where the states had substantially more power than they do now, essentially were their own entity outside of the federal government, the overarching government. There really was no overarching government. I mean, there was, but it wasn't as powerful as it is today, thanks to the Federalists. And the anti-federalists try to prevent it. I've been trying to find some anti-revolution literature because I am definitely anti-revolution. And I used to be caught hook and sinker with the revolutionary mindset of the Americas, all that stuff. I read a lot of when I was in college, my major was history. So as a history major, anybody that knows, you look at firsthand documents. So I've read a lot of the firsthand documents of like the founders. Read a lot of their literature back in the day, and I agreed with a lot of what they had to say. But now, as I get older, I'm like, I don't know that revolutions are the right thing to do. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, is that I believe that the barring of these banks from states sets the stage for potential secessions, for countries to secede from the United States. We already can see that there's already, some kind of like formations. Yeah, I think it's hard to write revolutions out since they have been so often throughout history. Yeah, they have been so often throughout history, but when have they ever effectively gotten rid of tyranny? It's crazy how states are building their state defense forces. That's an interesting point. Thank you for bringing that up. Like Florida's doing that massively. And so, what are the plays here? And when I say that the balkanization is going to happen, you have to understand too. Well, you don't have to understand anything that I'm telling you if you don't want to, or if you just can't. But it's not like a state like Connecticut's going to be on its own. It just means that like Connecticut's going to be like a part of the greater Gotham with New York, New Jersey, freaking, I don't know, maybe even Ohio and Pennsylvania would be incorporated in something like that. Virginia, West Virginia, I don't know. But basically, it's just going to be atomization. I don't know if atomization is the right word. A fractionalization of America would probably be a better word, is what I foresee coming in the near future, especially as we have this multiculturalism permeating most of the nation, throughout most of the nation. America was really the first country that wasn't run by a dictator or a tyrannical force. What do you call it? What is it run by now? What is it run by now? Is that us or against us, though? Revolutions do change regimes, but nothing eliminates hierarchies. And nothing should eliminate hierarchies. Hierarchies are very natural. I don't think hierarchies are the problem. I think that big man, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm anti-nationalist either. I'm more of a tribalist. So city states, I think, are ideal over nations. That's what I think. I think hierarchies function better in smaller environments, and as they get bigger, they get very, very corrupt. Is that for us or against us? I think that it would depend. It would really depend. But ultimately, I think it would be for us in the grand scheme of things regarding the global agenda to have a one world government, which they're all admitting, coming out saying, like, this is no longer in the depths of the conspiracy world. This is out in the open. I never said that America's system is the same now as it was during its creation. Even during its creation, they had the Sedition Act. John Adams made the Sedition Act, where basically it eliminated your free speech. You know that, right? And a lot of people say, like, there's a lot of debates between historians if Thomas Jefferson stole the election because he was vice president. And this is where the debate where Mike Pence, can he legitimize the votes or not? Well, Thomas Jefferson did this way back when. Mike Pence then has some precedents to do this as well for Donald Trump. So no, it's always been this way. Always been this way. Oh, and do you think that piece of legislation is still working today? No, it is not. I mean, there is a sort of sedition act going on right now. I mean, the Homeland Security is opening up a domestic terrorist task force The U.S. is a corporatist nation. Whomever lobbies the most dollars gets support. 100% agree with that. No, the Constitution will stop it. The Constitution hasn't stopped it yet, has it? Where's your free speech? I mean, also, free speech is total nonsense. It isn't a thing, it's a fiction, it's a myth, it's a belief system that people hold on to dearly. But free speech doesn't exist. Also, bro, you have to realize that our democratic republic was the first of its kind. I don't know that to be true. I mean, we stole a lot from Britain, the Greeks. The Greeks had a republic, or the Romans. Maybe both of them did. I mean, Plato wrote on democratic system in republics as well. There's a whole book on the republic, I believe. It's literally an experiment that has yet to fail. It has failed, my friend. I'm sorry to break the news to you, but if this is an experiment, it has failed utterly and completely. Uh, let's start a GoFund. Yeah, I mean, let's start a page and let's start our own pact. You do know that that's how the alt right was started, right? By a man called I'm drawing a blank. He's a philosopher. I really enjoy his work. I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff because he's a straight up Luciferian. Like admits it. That's he worships Satan, but he's a very intelligent man and a lot of insight he has in the spiritual world and all that philosophy. Giorgiani, Jason Reza Giorgiani, Jason Reza Giorgiani started the alt right by basically making a corporation out of it. You know, he got it. I believe Greeks was an oligarchy, which oligarchies I think are much better and much more natural. I think no autocracies. Autocracies are much natural. Greece was a democracy. Rome was a republic. So there you go. Thank you, Big Russ. Let's start a GoFundMe and buy out all the corporations. That would be hella hard because even if you got all the money, you need it. You know, I'm a salesman, right? Like I've done sales for a few years. Like you know, you can get me in a boardroom in there, but I don't think I'm going to be competing against those guys. What have you done to have someone cash app you? Uh, provide valuable insights. Um, be entertaining. Covering the news. This is, what does Fox News do to deserve to get paid? What does CNN do to deserve to get paid? We're better than Fox News and CNN. Red oil producing states begin to produce their own oil and yeah. I mean that's what would happen also in balkanization. You have a choice. Yep, let's do it. Buy all the shares. Buy all the big ones. Oh my gosh, we got some conspiracies going on in the chat tonight. That would be it was not a true democracy because it was only men who can vote. And true democracies suck. I don't want a true democracy because then you have to resort to the lowest common denominator. I mean, that's just dumb. Like I think that I think that right now voting should be restricted to the head of households and landowners and business owners. Those three. You need to have those three, and you also need to pass a test that shows that you know what the hell is going on in the world on a political level, on a governmental level, in order to vote. So those four things, I think, would be the prerequisites to making a voter. If it needs to change, it must be one step at a time. Jump in with both feet. And what was wrong? You say, oh, okay. So you're pro-capitalist? Well, macro, yes, capitalism is good. But I am, when it comes to like familial settings, I'm very, very, very communistic. Very. I think that you should pull your resources together. I think that I think that you should pull your resources together. You should share one, maybe two bank accounts and live in the same house, share the same property. All your labor goes towards one another. All your so it depends. Like macro, I think that there should be a type of capitalism. The free market isn't good. There needs to be some regulations on it. Because if you have a free market, how are you supposed to stop, like a minor from selling themselves? You can't. The liberal web of lies is unfolding. Yeah, that sounds like communism, bro. Yeah, for families, I just said that in a familial setting, I am for what some would call communism. What's the bombshell? Something we don't already know? Yeah, this is something you don't already know. This is a comment from YouTube. I'll get to that in 1 second. I just want to stop on this. Stop categorizing me. Yeah, so for families, I think it is very smart for you guys to pull your resources together. On a state level, I don't think that you should pull your resources together on the macro. So macro, micro, macro, micro, macro, big, micro, small. Small family, pull resources together. Micro, big, nation, state, etc. Capitalism with guardrails. Yeah, man, that's okay. I disagree, but to reach their own, to each their own. Okay, okay. Maybe you should advocate for volunteerism. Maybe that's better rhetoric, Big Russ. I think you're right. I think you're right. Because people see communism and socialism and they just get triggered. They can't think past the word. But you're right. The middle class is getting wrecked by this recession. Yeah, I mean, my family, we're middle class, and I think that we're actually thriving. To be quite honest with you, I mean, my business is growing. My businesses are growing. I'm making more money than I did during the boom. Well, not investment wise. My portfolio is kind of tanking, but my active income is good because communism is by force, whereas volunteer. Well, Big Russ, I'm going to force my damn children to pull in resources with me, okay? And then their freaking husbands, my son-in-law's going to be like, hey, yo, empty out your pockets. Put them in this piggy bank right in the middle of the living room. Communism can only function under a one world government. That isn't true. I mean, it functioned under the Soviet Union for a lot of years. It functions under China still presently. And China has no interest in making a one world government. Neither does Russia. Now, since we've covered that, we've covered the big bank thing. This is the next thing. This is the next thing. And I don't think anybody knows about this unless you were on the TikTok. Neither do I. So this is pretty big news. You may have seen the TikTok, it got removed. So yeah, we're constantly being censored. We're constantly getting shadow banned. We're fighting the censorship because we're spitting out the truth, And so that's the only way that you get banned or censored. Because I'm not over here being profane. I'm not endorsing any kind of degenerate behavior. I'm not endorsing violence. I'm not endorsing radicalism. Yet for some reason, I keep getting banned. And there's only one reason why. Because I'm spitting the truth. So here we go. Everybody on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch can see this. Man, Tito, you're in here dropping the roses, dropping the panda. I appreciate it, my brother. All right, so Zelensky, Prepare Arizona will decertify on Thursday, maybe. They don't want the truth out there. 100%. Keep on preaching. Thank you, guys. So Zelensky caught red-handed destroying evidence of Hunter Biden biolab network. I was banned earlier. My video was taken down. It was going to go viral. It was going to be my next viral video. Hit almost 5,000 views very quickly, under an hour. And then they throttled it. And then I appealed it. And then they were like, yo, you right. We just had to throttle you a little bit. We're spitting out opinions. Fuck, get this guy out of here. Ukrainian president knew to cover his buddies in the U.S. government. A document released by Russian news outlet Izvesta on Tuesday reportedly shows. By the way, I used to work at this Russian company, and the owner of the company, breaking news, 100%, baby Biden has been caught since the Hillary emails. I used to work at this Russian company, and it was really cool because the owner of the company, he and I got along very well. Every time that we would have company dinners, he and I would end up staying there the latest, drinking together, and just bullshitting about politics, the company, life, etc. And it was very interesting getting his perspective. He would always listen to Russian news in his office. You could hear it. I couldn't understand a damn word they were saying, but he was always listening to Russian news. And his take on politics was very interesting. And he's a big fan of Putin. A lot of Russians, despite what you hear in the media, they love Putin. Real Russians in real life, all the Russians I know in real life, I know a lot of them because I used to work at a Russian company. They love Putin. Putin's their guy. But anyway, let's keep going. Document released by Russian news outlet Istava on Tuesday reportedly shows Ukrainian President Volodymyr, I'm not sure how you pronounce his first name, Zelensky ordered the destruction of all documents related to the nation's biolabs being run in collaboration with the Hunter Biden-connected firm Metabiota. Yeah, they do. We're all doomed. Mitt Romney 2024. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Mitt Romney 2024. Ew. That's disgusting. You make me want to throw up. Independent journalist Clandestine posted a translated version of the document to his Substack and provided a detailed explanation of why the Ukrainian government paper is so important. So here's the document right here. It says the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, with the participation of the specialists of the the Security Service of Ukraine in connection with the conduct of martial law in Ukraine from February 24th to 2022 in accordance with the decree of the President of Ukraine, organized the devastating destruction of personal files of servicemen, employees, and staff of state institutions. Also, CA can fall off in sync. Yeah, we'll get into California in a second. He's one of the rational Republicans. Lol. Are you a Trumper? Hell no. You obviously haven't seen my TikToks. I ain't a Trumper. Nixon Jr. 2024. I actually like Richard Nixon. You know, I've read at least one biography, maybe 2 books on him, but at least one. I actually like Nixon. But no, I'm not a Trumper at all. I don't like Trump. I mean, I think he's funny. I think that he is I think he's a good leader, but I'm not a fan. Center for Public Health of Ministry of Health of Ukraine, Ukrainian Research Anti-Plague Institute, and it goes into who it is, whatever. And then it says right here, regional laboratory centers of Ministry of Health of Ukraine, which work together with scientists, Metabiota Inc. Did you like Ronald Reagan? No, I don't like Ronald Reagan. I think Ronald Reagan was a scumbag. He was a piece of shit father. I need to slow down. This is why I get banned. Because I just start roasting people, and then they're like, you're being offensive. Your words hurt. So I got to slow down. No, Ronald Reagan sucks. Don't like him. He runs the country like a business. We know he has no filter, which can be unfortunate. I love the no filter. I don't have a filter. I have to put a filter on me. So I resonate with him in that regard. Liz Cheney, Rhino of the Year, 100%. 100%. You know that doctor? Yeah, I did see that. And he came out saying, oh, well, if you get this jab, you cannot get the unicorn. Total lie. Who do you like? Everybody wants to know who I like. Right now, politically, I think Joe Biden's kind of funny. That LMAO. Yeah, I think Joe Biden's kind of funny. Hence that I'm not like endorsing his politics or anything. Trump was funny. Who do I like politically? I don't know. I mean, me? I should run for office? I don't know. I really don't know because I haven't found a good one. Rand Paul, Thomas Massey. You know, Thomas Massey, actually, yeah. I do like him. He's Rand Paul. Yeah, I do, but I'm not a big libertarian. But they would probably be the 2 best ones, I would say. Yeah. Jim Jordan. I kind of like Jim Jordan. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Do I like any Democrats? No, not that I can think of. Yeah, I mean, maybe Jim Jordan, Rand Paul, Thomas Massey. Yeah, but I don't know if any of them would ever be elected to president, and I don't know that Jim Jordan would be a good president. I don't know that he's a good guy in general. So it says, "Whoa, Z's in the chat. He's got a good leader. That's all that matters. You're free to roast conservatives." Yeah, I'm not a fan of conservatism at all. They can't even conserve the woman's bathroom. No, she's no good. I think that she's a snake in the grass. I never vote for a rat. Trumpster. Okay. Yeah, Tulsi. Luis Acevedo 2024. I'm not even, I won't even be able to run for president in 2024 because what do you got to be like 35? So I got 9 years to go, 8 years because I'll be 27. Alex Jones 2024. No, get that sweaty meatball out of here. You don't think Alex Jones would be? Hell no. Hell no. I don't think he would be a good president. Hell no. He doesn't rile anybody up when he gives speeches, and I don't think that I don't think he'd be a good president. I don't. Okay. How about Ron DeSantis? I almost said Ron DeSantis, but the reason I didn't is because I'm having a hard time finding it. But he did write a law that was like anti-speech against Israel, and so that to me shows me he may be bought and paid for by the small hats and the big noses. Which a lot are. He exposed the Illuminati, as did a lot of people. I think Alex Jones is controlled opposition. That's what I think. I listen to Alex Jones, though, almost every day. I listen to the Alex Jones show almost every day. Joe Rogan? Hell no. Joe Rogan is a GAY midget. Literally. I don't like Joe Rogan at all. He is the biggest gatekeeper out there. Disgusting. He takes a bunch of hormone pills to look strong and cool. Just wait until China starts putting sanctions on us, and then Joe Rogan's going to look up like a shriveled up toe. Like a toe that's been in the water for too long. That's how Joe Rogan's going to look once he can no longer get his pills from China. He is still alive. Stu Peters. I don't know who that is. NECA vote blew out. Alex is solid for some crazy topics. He's very entertaining. I will give him that, and he is very knowledgeable. I'm not saying that he's not intelligent. I do think that the guy's kind of intelligent, but I think he's become more retarded over time. Troy Gotti, nah, not a big fan of Troy Gotti. I dare you to say that to his face. To whose face? To whose face? You think I'm scared? You think I'm scared of another man? Like he has a bias? Everybody has a bias, though. Is he really Bill Bucks? I don't think so. Hunter needs to be in jail. Thoughts on? Oh, dude, Nicholas J. Fuentes. Don't like him. Don't like him. Don't like him at all. He's such a effeminate man. He says that having sex with women is gay. Fact. And he also got caught watching TRANNYPORN. Yeah, I think that dude he's controlled op as well. 100%. Yeah, it's over for him. I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes at all. America First. You guys should look at the 4chan rooms just roasting Nick Fuentes. It's hilarious. Call it Norp. MOT is better than America First. Yeah, they had some good moments when they called out Charlie Kirk. You know, they had some good moments. But over all the Groypers, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. No, what is he doing? He lived with his mom for so long. I'm not against living with your family, with your parents for a long time. But when you are a stunted individual, as he was, disgusting. He calls women breast milkers. The guy's definitely GAY. Definitely Gay. Candace Owens, uh, dude, she's up. She's up for sure. I mean, she was all about the racism thing. She tried to get people in jail for that stuff, and she's still doing the same thing, just reverse. Uh, Ron Paul. Ron Paul, I dig some Ron Paul, but once again, I'm not a big libertarian guy. I don't agree with a lot of libertarian philosophies. Thoughts on red flags, red flag laws? Totally I don't know. They're kind of hard. I I think that if like we had a sane leadership, they would be okay, but we don't. So definitely no. Yeah, he has fallen down some, but he had some base moments. Yeah, like I agree with him that women shouldn't vote. I agree with him on that. Like the head of household should be the ones that vote. Michael Malice, I'm not an anarchist. I don't agree with anarchy at all. Anarchy is not cool. Um, the hierarchies will always exist. Red flag laws are unconstitutional, period. Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but do you really get your rights from a piece of paper or do you get it from God? ICCW, cool. You built an AR-15. That's what's up. That's what's up. I would learn. I would love to learn how to do that. You have no idea what you're talking about. Do you? I don't know who that is. I don't know who Oswald Mosley is. I have no clue who that is. Would I have no clue. I think is man-made. It deliberately. I don't even think it's real because I don't think that the bees are contagious. So you identify as any. So do you? If not, yeah, I would say that the. I'm torn between saying that like I'm a Christian tribalist or a Christian nationalist. I'm not sure which would be the better language to go with because I'm not really a big fan of nations. I think tribes are more natural, but then there's an argument to be made that nations don't have to be big. Nations are just the people. So maybe the correct term would be a Christian nationalist, would be the closest thing that I would identify with. That paper is to remind Congress. Let's see here. It's not hard. Yeah, I'm sure it's not hard. Got all my parts online. That's what's up. That paper is to remind Congress is their limits. Okay. Trump not caught in January 6th. Trying to yeah, yeah. Yes, we do need a Christian theocracy monarchy. You're not really a nationalist, though. Um, I would say that I am. I think that probably where is Lee Harvey O's when the nation needs him? Oh my God. I do not advocate anybody doing anything to anybody harmful unless they're doing something harmful to you or your family. But I would say your comment loves my point. Thank you. You're really not a nationalist, though. I think that I would qualify as a nationalist. I think that it's good to have a nation and to be proud of that nation and try to preserve that nation at all costs. Because that's where your ancestry is from. That's where your rituals are from. That's where you identify with. Do you think yourself as a proud American? I don't know. The reason I say I don't know is because what does it mean to be an American now? Like, yeah, I would default. Like, my natural instinct is to default and say, hell yes, I am a proud American. Like, that's my default, naturally. But then if I sit back and think about it, what does it mean to be an American anymore? We have no cohesive culture. Are you anti Israel? I'm anti Israel controlling America, at least part of America. Yeah, that's. I think that they have the right to exist. I guess it depends on the person. Right, exactly. There's no cohesive definition of American. And so, how can you be proud of something that's so disorderly? You get what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, if you ask somebody, are they proud Chinese? It'd be very easy for them to say yes or no because they have such a coherent culture. So if you see things from more of a tribal perspective, doesn't Malice say that anarchism will lead to that? The nation will split and people will end up with their tribes. But anarchy means no ruler. And I believe that there will be a ruler. There will always be a ruler. So maybe we agree that there will be tribes, but eventually those tribes grow and nations will become a thing out of that. And there will always be a ruler by default. Pro Putin? No, I think Putin is a better leader and a better president uh, than any in the West. But I wouldn't say that I'm pro Putin. I mean, I think that ultimately people at the top tend to be controlled by bigger powers than we know, whether they even know about it. Why are conspiracy theorists always so delusional and moronic? I don't know. Have you ever looked in the mirror? Maybe it's you. I was just asking because most nationalists are considered patriotic. Yeah, I figured that's where you were going with it. You're not even European. Your name sounds Mexican. Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a mixed breed. I'm a mutt. So my family kind of screwed me, although they made me. Always proud. Uh, always be proud. People died for free speech. Did they though? Did they though? I was thinking about that the other day. Like, when's the last time we actually went to a war that directly defended our so-called rights? When? Wasn't in Iraq, wasn't in Afghanistan. Would you agree that Putin is committing war crimes? No, I would not. I think he is in the legal right. They signed an agreement. Oh, you sounded good, but too bad you're Puerto Rican. I'm sort of Rican, okay? My mom is European. Mi padre is Puerto Rican. How can you say women can't vote, but you don't have to suffer to the same law? Contradictory. Well, no, I think that women. I don't know. Let me try to be tactful in my speech because I think I got banned last time I expressed my view on this. Whoa. I'm proud American. I can't stand our corrupt government and people pushing around. But what does it mean to be an American? Ukraine was going to invade Russia. No, they weren't. But NATO was encroaching on Russian territory, and they had an agreement from years ago that they wouldn't do it. And so Russia just followed the law. How is Hunter Biden different than Trump's kids' influence? Let's see how you twist this. I have no way to twist it. I totally agree with you. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote because they're afraid of guns. Simple as that. Not all women are afraid of guns, but no, I don't think. I don't think that the opposite sex of what I am should be able to vote because they tend to think more emotionally, and they're not typically designed to focus on the big picture. They more so are. They're more so tribalistic than men in that they want to do what's best for their families. And if you get a opposite sex of me in the office, they're then going to get that feeling of motherly care over their constituents. And then that's when you start getting socialized healthcare, welfare states. It's the feminine energy that brings that in 100%. And also, what do you do in a time of combat when you should have a strong male leader? And what happens to the opposite in that time? Well, they either get RAPE deed, or just killed, or then they get taken away. Are you nuts making a comment like that? 100% not. Also, the West staged a coup and overthrew the previous pro. Yeah, 100%. No, not a parody. Real life. Because I was born here, it's not like being born anywhere. The comments are getting too ridiculous. Women cannot think rationally. I don't think that that's true. They definitely can think rationally. My wife is a very rational thinker. She did very well in math, um, high school, college, very analytical. Um, so I don't think that's true, but I think that it's a man's position to vote and to lead a nation and a tribe. Maybe that's why a lot of those countries aren't first world countries. I don't know what you're talking about. Best war snipes in World War II. Don't know about that. Probably a lot of propaganda, especially with all the Call of Duty stuff coming out. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would. It's not even fair. Like, I did a show. I started a show a few weeks ago. You are simping for you, me wife. Uh, do you even have a wife? Do you even have kids? This isn't me simping. This is me being objective about what my wife is able to do. The furthest thing from that. But anyway, laughed my ass off. My man said the most out of pocket shit I ever heard and said, these comments are too crazy. No, I was saying these comments are too crazy to keep up with. No, I'm not married. Okay, so then shut up. like, like, what are you talking about, bro? I've been in a very successful relationship for almost 10 years. Um, and we have three beautiful kids. Well, one's on the way. One's cooking. One's cooking. The other two are sleeping. So, yeah, I I love my wife very much. Simp, never. If I simped, my wife would leave me. You guys don't understand. Like that's just woman's natural default. Like as soon as you start simping for them, they lose all respect for you, and then they leave you or they cheat on you. I don't know who that is. So that makes you special? No, it doesn't. I mean, I guess maybe in today's world it makes me special that I'm a man that has a wife that's not afraid to reproduce. The rational thinking woman would understand most women are yeah, no, you're 100% right, D-Lac. You're 100% right. So yeah, um men should be the leaders. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. So yeah, that's cool. It's cool. I've women love misogyny, by the way. They love it. They love it. Trust me. Trust me. I know. I know from experience. Misogyny is based in true. 100%. I don't know if you're being sarcastic here, but 100%. I mean, women, in a like you can do some dark stuff to a woman and they like it. You need to be trustworthy first to be a good leader. 100%. 100%. Like women like it when they know that their man has other options. That makes them more attracted to them, and then that in a weird way makes them, especially if you're already in a relationship, want to be with you more in a weird way. Um, yeah, it's very interesting. Women govern who went against the lockdown and stayed home. Facts about women. yeah, they did for men that simped. But then real men like me, we were like, no, you don't wear that mask. We ain't no slaves. And also, I mean, it's really kind of simple. Women just want a man with a purpose, and they want you to be able to essentially provide and protect them and have a purpose. But don't make your purpose them. So many people think that you'd be in decent shape. Dude, I'm a dad of three girls. I have a wife. Fun fact, people who have a little bit of fat on them, as I do, live longer, especially if they have estrogen in their life, that being women, which I have a lot of women in my life and a lot of love, and also community, which I have that as well. Those people tend to live the longest. Left my ass off. I was thinking the same thing talking about real men. Yeah, I heard women like when men get physical with them to teach them a lesson every now and then. No, No, I would never do that. I mean, I don't know if I'd say never. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I could do that. I know that there's some other people out there that are more into like pimping and stuff like that, and they would agree. They would agree with what you're saying, but I'm not for that. Just rough the bed. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. They do like to be manhandled in the bedroom. If we're gonna go down that route, they do. Do you think the food manufacturers are just a coincidence? I think most of them probably are, but there's too many to think that some of it isn't planned. I don't know though. I don't mean hit them hard or anything. Just treat them like a dog to make them obedient. I mean, I get okay, okay. In a way, yeah. In a way, yes. Um, but you don't even have to be yelling at them or anything. Like you don't even have to like think that you have to take disciplinary actions. You can just withdraw your attention because that's the most valuable thing a man has to a woman is their attention because women they just want your attention. They want you to be around. Depends on the relationship. This is every relationship pretty much. Women want a lot of attention. Would you rather be gay or a woman? Neither. I don't do false binaries. But for jokes, I would rather be if I had to choose, I would be a gay woman. If you believe in the comments above, you are capable of the monstrous things. Okay. It's black and white. Hunter Biden is one of Joe Biden's top advisors. So, what happens when we women can attain to ourselves? We do not need outside attention. Oh, well, I mean, maybe in rare cases, that's true, but most of the time you are looking for male attention. Just like men are looking for female attention in different ways. Just life. We are built to procreate. It's just a sexual dynamic. So whether you realize it or not, you trying to be more masculine is attempting to find male attention. Um, yeah, and it's just the way life is. But if you had to pick, I would rather be a woman because I would still go to heaven. No, I don't know. I don't know because then, what if you're a straight woman? I don't want to be a straight woman. I know why you got banned, bro. I think I know why you got banned. Me too. Me too. I know exactly why. I get banned all the time. So, but we keep on going. We keep on going. We had one channel up to 40,000 followers. We got this one up to almost 6,000. Just got to keep going. We ain't stopping. We ain't stopping. We're not stopping until we're at the top. We're replacing the Alex Jones show, right? This is what truthers need to hear. We're replacing Nichols Fuentes. We're replacing that guy. We're replacing all them. This is a much better spot for young men to be at. You want to get into politics? Get in locally. That's where you should be. Know who your local councilmen are. You want to stop a lot of this drama rather? Local, local, local. Have a family. Don't be afraid to have a family. It's a beautiful time to have a family. Most people that are super successful became super successful during times like these. So, work, work. Don't be afraid of a little work. Now let's talk a little bit about what Cali's trying to do here. Switch topics up a little bit. Honest hour? Yeah, this is the honest hour. We need big European families to catch up number wise. Yeah, so if you're European, my wife's European. She's a German. She's base. Her family descends from Mr. Me Mustache. All right. So California scheming, you support full Trump or pro Biden? Neither. Neither. What's up with all these false binaries? Neither. I don't have to choose either. So California scheming. The progressives, hang on, let me move my phone over. Move this so I can read the title. The progressive leadership the progressive leadership's new plan to impose high cost, low quality Medicare. Shout out C. Kyle. Don't know who C. Kyle is. So, with a budget surplus of $200 million, the California legislation is thinking big, really big. And that means one thing: single payer government health care, which recently was introduced as AB 1400. Time to impeach people. They're about to cater the U.S. The U.S. is already in decline, my friend, for a long time. So this is why over here at MOT Media, we say localized supply chains all the way and focus on your local government if you want to get political. Pro-inflation. Biden fool for leaving the White House, Trump. I think that it's more supply chain issues than inflation, in my opinion. Because there's a couple sectors that are affected. But think about like timber, right? Or lumber. Lumber was really expensive a couple years ago. It went up, and people were like, oh, that's indicative of inflation. But now lumber prices have plummeted. So if inflation was really a thing, well, the dollar would be weaker, but the dollar is getting stronger, and lumber prices would still be going up if it was because of inflation. I think we have more of a supply chain issue, and I think that we're facing deflation, not inflation. So in California, they want to basically have a state-run program with their $200 million surplus, but research has already been done showing that the price tag would be about $400 billion a year in order for that to even come into existence. So, yeah. I think that's state by state because wood is expensive AF here. No, I think overall, like the future prices and stuff on lumber, maybe in some areas it's more expensive than others, but overall, the price of lumber has dropped substantially. Because that whole premise of their party is that giving out free money is fine. Yeah, 100%. That's what we had in the YouTube comment. 100%. I didn't know Biden controlled inflation around the world, right? The world has very short life ahead right now. I don't think that. I think the future is very bright. We're optimistic over here. We're optimistic. That's why I'm having a bunch of kids. Used to live in California, that state already robs you 100% with taxes and everything. Yeah, you're right. And then you have what they're attempting to do now, and this is why you have a lot of people that live out of there. Damn trees growing faster, right? So we'll see how that turns out, and I think that will lead, also in part to I don't know if it'll lead to, maybe it will lead to a balkanization. Maybe it'll help lead to it. Why is ethanol as much as gas, but it's made here? Had to kick a friend of 30 years out of my house because she's a Trumper. That's very GAY of you. I don't know. Probably because there's fertilizer shortage. The crops aren't as bountiful as they used to be. Food crisis. I don't know. I know that Joe Biden wrote a letter to the biggest oil manufacturers in the country saying, you must start producing more oil, increase the refinery capacities now, or else we will use the tools of government against you. And people are speculating that he's going to use the Defense Protection Act or something to force corporations to produce more oil. But it's like, hey, yo, dude, did you forget that you were like, we're going to end all this stuff. We're going to end oil. We're going to go green in 10 years, 20 years. We're going to go completely green. So then you're disincentivizing every corporation to make long-term investments. And also, you screwed yourself when you started to end the pipelines, stop the drilling, all of that. Why are we exporting oil and refining oil than Genius. He stopped fracking. Yeah, I think so. Why are we exporting oil and refining foreign oil then, Genius? Well, we stopped producing our own oil, and it's getting increasingly difficult for us to export oil or get oil in. That's why we're trying to get deals with Venezuela, which we sanctioned. We're trying to make more deals. We're trying to beg the Saudi princes, please make gas prices cheaper. Please. Please make them cheaper. And then, one of the biggest producers in the world, we totally said, we're going to extract all of our businesses there. We didn't stop. Obviously, we didn't stop completely producing oil. Obviously. But we have no plan to increase production or increase the capacity because we have a hostile government, which is basically threatening this industry. Talking points of the Trumplicans. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, sanctions hurt us. Chinese corporations are eating up all the Russian oil. India is eating up the Russian oil. I mean, India is getting refined oil from Russia and then selling it back to us for a profit. People can't afford gas, but we're supposed to go buy a brand new electric car. Fact. We'll produce more oil this year than ever before. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, we were, what was it, April 2020? April 2020. I don't know where we're at now, but as of April 2020, we were down like a million barrels. The dollar is backed on the oil from Saudi. India cutting out of that shit. Yeah, right. Bro, the last thing American oil wants to do is decrease the price. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I mean, the prices were much cheaper a few years ago, weren't they? And I'm not even saying that it has to do with the president. I'm just saying that they were cheaper a few years ago. I think the reason prices are up or supply chains are collapsing and we're just not producing. Demand is currently at pre-COVID. Yeah. So the big issue is just that we have a bottleneck in the refinery. So the U.S. refinery bottleneck is the culprit for the gas pricing. All prices were much cheaper. How inflation works is prices go up. I don't think that we're living in inflation. I think that we're living in a deflationary period with supply chain constraints and locking down the world for 2-3 years. No, you need to pay better attention. For locking down the world for 2 to 3 years is a huge reason why we have a lot of the issues that we see today. Oil companies are controlling the supply. That's the narrative, but they aren't incentivized to produce more because they have a hostile government. I'm not. I one of the side gigs I do is sell solar panels. So I'm all for renewable energy. I get it. I think that we're going to have a hybrid system in the future. I think that we're going to have hybrid ways of producing and collecting and distributing energy. But the reality is we have a lot of hostility against these oil companies, which I don't think is fair. Now, I'm not saying they're not corrupt. I'm not saying that they haven't bought off a lot of politicians. Obviously, they have. Obviously. But it definitely is an issue. And a big issue is that supply chains are just crumbling. I think you're giving them too much credit. They're just making money as Americans. We don't have choices. You do have a choice. I mean, they are right when they say that you can buy an electric car. I mean, an electric car, some of the electric cars are cheaper than a brand new average gasoline car. If you watch the app with all the cargo ships, it shows a lot of shipments going towards UK. Interesting. So, yeah, I think the real issue that we're facing is deflation. We have countries defaulting on their debt like Sri Lanka. A lot of people aren't spending money. And you also have supply chain constraints. When you shut down the world for a couple of years, you're going to have the you're going to have to deal with the ramifications, and we're partially dealing with the ramifications of a global lockdown. That's why I think a lot of prices are going up. And it's really just in World War III setup. Yeah, I think World War III, I think we're already in it. I think it's already started. But I think deflation is the real issue. That's what I think. Because the dollar is very strong right now, actually. It's getting stronger. A lot of people want the dollar. So that's what I think's going on, but I'm no economist. How do you think America would be different, like price of gas, for example, if Trump had beaten Biden? I don't know. I have no clue. I would want to say better just because he was a better businessman, a better leader. Excuse me. um, but I don't know. Can you explain deflation? Yeah, so deflation, same price as when Obama and often explains that we need term limits. I don't. I'll touch on term limits too. Deflation is the opposite of inflation. So in inflation, you print money, right? So you're printing money. Money printer go burr. Okay. Deflation, money printers stop, and no more debt goes out because that's how you print money, right? You need debt in order to print money. We live in a debt-based economy. And so deflation, from my understanding, is the reduction in money supply, then therefore meaning the increase in buying power. Sometimes. Yes, I agree with that comment on YouTube, but I don't know that I can say it out loud. So that's what deflation is. Reduction in money supply, less debt, and increase most of the time in purchasing power. We need term limits. I don't know about that. I think that the president should be there for life, or at least like 40 years or something like that. I think that's the only way you can really get things done in a positive way. He wouldn't have choked off the supply. I mean, yeah, he wouldn't have because he would have let the pipestone, the Keystone pipeline disagree. Yeah, that's cool. I know a lot of people disagree on that particular topic, that particular opinion of mine on term limits. I think that presidents should be there for life or a really long time. Yeah, yeah, I know. Our monarchy, which they've been around much longer than a republic or a democratic republic or a democracy, and they've been proven to work a lot better. All politicians stay in as long as we want them in. They should be subject to immediate recall. I don't know about that either. I don't know about that either. I think that I think monarchies are more natural. Dictatorships, the country has more cohesion. You have more clear, concise laws on what you can and can't do. But over here in America, the good old USA, everything's so ambiguous. It's like one day you can say the word retard, but then the next day you're losing your damn job because you're an ableist. I got a donut. Maybe he's calling me fat, or maybe he's calling me out, guys. I'm the Fed. I'm the Fed. Are you Catholic and care about the Pope? I am not Catholic. I do not care about the Pope. If anything, I would say that I align more so closely with Orthodoxy. No, dude, LOL. You sound smart, but latch on to some bad info. Okay, I definitely, monarchies are the way to go. One king, baby. One king. It makes life easier. You don't really have to worry about the political side of things too much. In China, there's a lot of freedom in China, and people don't realize that. You just can't really criticize the governmental system, which is fine because you got so many other choices. No food supply conspiracy, just monopolies and poor supply chains. It could be that too. It could be that simple. It could be that simple. XX perm XX. I don't know. So it really could be that simple that there is no food supply. Can we have them monarchy made of lizard people too? Yeah, I mean, presumably there will be some lizard people controlling still. No, I just think that it makes for a more cohesive society. Democracies don't work well. Republics work a little bit better. But LBJ, fun fact that a lot of people are unaware of because they don't want to dig through 3-volume books of the master of the Senate. The power would corrupt. It always does. The power corrupts right now. But it would be much easier to see where the corruption's taking place in a monarchy than a democracy. Am I right? I am right. I mean, we basically, in a plutocracy, two-party system, a sham, and both sides lobbied by a corporate. Fair. America is falling. Okay, so fun fact for you guys. Good old LBJ, little history lesson. Back in the day, the senators of the United States were elected by the House of Representatives. As a true Republican should be ran. Similar to how they do it in the parliamentary system. But LBJ was like, yo, let's give the power to the people. Let's make it so that way people can vote for the senators as opposed to the House of Representatives. And he, being the Senate leader, wielded that to come into fruition through a lot. He was a very smart politician. Very smart politician. People used to think it was a political death sentence to be a Senate majority leader or a Senate minority leader back in his day. But then they were like, but then LBJ, he was like, no, this isn't going to be a death sentence for me. I'm going to wield this like nobody else has wielded it. And then he changed the whole Senate and how it's ran. He's basically the reason why now you can vote for senators, LBJ. Democracies work better than any other system. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. The solution is real democracy without electoral college, without filibusters, without lobbying. But then you can't, what is lobbying? What is lobbying? And then why would you not want to have a filibuster? Monarchies, it's very simple. Monarchies will provide the most cohesive society and a leader that one can look to. And also, they will allow you to see the corruption up front and personal and narrow it down. It's very hard to see the corruption in the world that we live in today because it's a big old spider web. But in a monarchy, it'd be very easy to tell. Lobbying is private interests paying for policy to benefit them. Our values are not represented in society, period, because of private dollars. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I think that, I do kind of agree with it, but I think that governments are a manifestation of our inner world. And so the only reason why we have this woke capitalism is because we have a bunch of people who believe in wokeism. And then this woke capitalism that then inevitably trickles in their dollars to politicians. Those politicians then, because of us wanting the woke capitalism, have to adapt to that. They have to then change their message to appease the people. We have more control over the government than you think because they are simply a framework for a system in which we create by our will, by our inner world. So what I mean by our inner world, I'm not getting all guru woo-woo on you. It's our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings are all inner. And so then you combine them, and then you say, yo, this is what we want as a framework right here. And this framework needs a referee. And guess who that referee is? The government. And so then you establish a referee system that will allow you and society to operate within the framework. Is that way? And let's see. How many in office are investing in electric cars and trucks? Still need energy to power them up? 100%. In what way? The people want health care, no college debt, free schools, low prices, no war. Come on, man. Yeah, they actually do. That's what you think, though. Like, people do want war. They do. They do. They want some. They want a bad guy. So that's not true. More people than not want war. Lower prices. I don't either. I don't either. I'm with you. But more people than not want war. And you also reap what you sow. As far as low prices, well, people do want that, which is why you had free trade, which free trade is the reason why we're in the predicament that we're in, because then you have to have a global supply chain, and then you have to have the free movement of labor. So you got fancy things for low prices until the people got really good at making your stuff and the supply chains collapsed. Now you got high prices. All right, free school. You do have free school. It's called homeschool, my man. College debt. Yeah, I totally agree with that. A jubilee of college debt would be the best thing. And I think that they're working towards it. I think Joe Biden is actually paying off a certain college, all their college debt through the government, I believe. We want health care. Health care is free too. It's called your diet. Hippocrates, I believe it's how you pronounce his name, is the father of medicine, said all diseases can be cured with a diet. So let's see here. We got a bunch of comments. Will Trump be next president? Probably him or DeSantis. He means the Socialist Democrats. Clinton blamed Clintons. I hope live after saying that. Free public school would cost $50 billion, $10 billion for free community college. Why don't you just homeschool? That's free. Had all of that. We destroyed Gaddafi. Yeah, and also he was trying to create his own financial system, trying to create the United States of Africa, which I speculated for a long time that Africa would probably come together as one nation, and it'd probably be the best thing for him, but I had no clue Gaddafi was working on that. None. None whatsoever. But yeah, so I mean, you want low prices, eliminate free trade and the global economy, the global supply chain. Biden monarchy or Trump monarchy? Hunter Ardon Jr. is the next king of America. I would definitely choose Trump monarchy. I'll go with that binary there. Trump monarchy all day. He'd be an entertaining king. I mean, guys, Trump is hilarious. I don't care what anybody. Biden is also hilarious too. Like you can't take this stuff too serious. It's rather funny watching them interact. I mean, Trump, I love his mannerisms, his gestures. Hunter as king would be sick though. Yeah, I mean that would be pretty hilarious having Hunter Biden as king. Things would probably get really bad for us though. We'd probably have some other country come in and take us over pretty easily. 54 nations in Africa going to be one nation. What? Yeah, I mean, what? There was 50 nations in America. I know it wasn't all 50 at the time, but 50 nations make up the United States. I'm stoked for the food to be destroyed. Damn. I mean, what are you trying to do? Go on a diet or something? So, yeah. There's a lot going on here. Trump is a grifter. We are American kings. I think Trump is a grifter. Yes, I am for king. 1 second. My phone is dying, so I gotta plug it in. Yeah, I think kings are a good thing. I think kings are extremely natural. I think people want a king. They do. I mean, people were like, Obama, run for another term in office. He's like, I cannot do that. Let's just all not pay. Yeah, don't do that. I mean, y'all can do that if you want. I'm good though. I'm good. Oh yeah, this is rather interesting. Um, I'm not sure if anybody saw this study that came out. Give me a second here. So there were these twins. They were South Korean, and they were split at birth. One went to South Korea, the other went to America. Well, the one who grew up in South Korea had a full standard deviation higher IQ than the one who grew up in America. And the reason for this is the trauma, the family environment, and society in America is linked to stunting her her intelligence potential, whereas her sister, in a more communal environment, um, familial environment, cohesive, was able to thrive and reach her full IQ potential. So that was very interesting. So there is a nature nurture aspect to IQ, but I think that most of your potential comes from nature, genetics, but you can be stunted based on your environment for sure. So I thought that was rather interesting. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna call it a night. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please like, share, comment, follow, subscribe. MOT Media everywhere: YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Um, Consider uh, supporting the channel. You know, this goes on so that way we can produce bigger and better things as well. We have a bunch of shows. Um, More things to come. We're talking about an NFT project so that way we can combat the censorship, try to revolutionize media in a way. We'll see, though. We'll see. There's a lot going on. But yeah, guys, much love. Thanks for tuning in. I will be here tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll do it again. Have a great night. Much love. Peace.